Why should you ask yourself if you are feeling irrational, anger, or true rationality? Are you really in control with your rational mind at all times, or are your emotions dominating you? And why is it important to spend some time with your emotions and your sense of self as opposed to trudging on, believing what you believe is correct? Hello, and welcome back to Stoic Spirituality, a podcast where I look through, analyze, and dissect various quotes and books that I've read for the past few years. My name is Juggin, and I'm a student of the human experience trying to spread some knowledge out to the rest of the world. And so, what I'm going to talk about in this episode is the idea of rationality, a kind of law of rationality, and whether or not we actually contain this rationality, this sense of calm, cool, collected control, or our emotions have more credence, have more control, hidden underneath our thin veneer of supposed rationality. So, a lot of us like to think we are rational, decent human beings that are trying to cultivate habits toward the betterment of ourselves, toward the betterment of those around us, and for the overall positive contribution to the overall of society. And so, what we like to do is we like to imagine ourselves as calm, cool, collected individuals with our mind and rationality in control of every one of our actions. However, we are also vastly unaware of how our emotions dominate us. For example, think of the last time you got frustrated, you got mad, or you got emotional. How quickly did this emotion come to the surface? How quickly or how long did it take for your supposed rationality to snap and switch into irrationality, into an emotional state? How much patience did you take, or how much patience did you have in the face of someone getting emotional toward you, or someone being egoistic towards you, or someone raising your own frustrations? Ask yourself how much and how much you got affected by these kinds of situations or people. And if the answer is that you got frustrated or you thought something that wasn't the most rational quickly, that's an indicator that you're not in complete control of your mind, in complete rational state, regardless of those around you. Because as Marcus Aurelius says, what we are in control of is our mind, not outside events. And as long as you remember that, you will have strength. A lot of people, they like to worship their ego, whether or not they know it. And in this case, their ego is their sense of separatedness, their sense of difference between those around them, ignoring the fact that all of us are interconnected in whatever happens around us. We all like to find a sense of uniqueness as a part of human nature to illustrate how we are different from those around us, to find a sense of self, a sense of identity in our own unique self. And others like finding it in some sort of identification, such as their family or their nation, something to identify, something to feel kinship towards, something to feel a part of, some identification or name or label to give themselves. But Pericles, an ancient Greek philosopher, followed the intelligence of the mind, using cool rationality in the face of a plague, in the face of political rivals, in the face of many injustices done to him, he followed through only with the intelligence of the mind, channeling the idea that the only control over is his mind, and worked toward a sense of cool, calm rationality. This is not to say that you should disregard all your emotions, put them in a box, and float them out to sea to be hidden in your subconscious. Because when you do such a thing, they have a tendency or way to come back when you least expect them, or when a lot of bottling up has been done in a massive explosion. Because it's not that your emotions are bad, they are natural indicators of certain cues or certain things that are wrong with the world around you. However, what is wrong is allowing them to fester and chew away at your mental state on a daily basis. It's not that the emotion is inaccurate or incorrect or bad, it's that what you do with the emotion by allowing it to fester and not taking a rational decision or moving forward with an action that is based in rationality is where the mistake occurs. So, what you must do in order to channel this inner Athena to master kind of the world around you is by mastering your emotions. Understand them, accept them, and feel them fully, but give in not to them. Give in not to this lens that is put over your eyes, that shades the rest of the world around you that you would originally see with the lens of rationality. And do not make any decisions, do not release any words, or don't even think too many thoughts when you are feeling these strong emotions. Accept them, feel them, and sit with them. One of the rules that I follow, in general as a person, is that if something negative happens to me that I know is something that is going to fester in my mind, I have two techniques that I use. The first technique I use is I allow myself to put it away for a couple hours or so. To understand, accept that what I'm feeling is valid, what I'm understanding is a sense of just emotion, and while I do want to express it, I understand that there is potential for me to say things I will regret later. So instead, I allow myself to accept it and focus on something else for 1 hour or 2 hours and come back to it when the emotion of the situation or the emotion of the scene has left. And what remains is more rational based thoughts that are not clouded by this lens of emotion. The other technique I use is allow myself to ask myself, is this going to matter within 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months? Is this something I'm going to think about in this amount of time? Is it that impactful on my overall life? More often than not, the answer is no. So I ask myself, if it doesn't affect me in this set amount of time, even if it is 5 hours, why should it affect me right now? Why is this buildup of emotion affecting me right now? After fully accepting it and validating it. So by using these kinds of techniques, by allowing yourself to sit with an emotion, understand and accept it, but also see that it is affecting your judgment and affecting your rationality, you then master your emotions. Again, mastering your emotions is not boxing them up and putting them out to sea and hoping that one day they'll disappear and never come back into your life. That is a sure sign to get yourself in more trouble in the future mentally. But by working with them, accepting them, and realizing their unintended effects they can have on you, you channel the real sense of self, pull out the true rationality that should define your everyday life, and become someone who is more disciplined, rational, and better, and less ego-based. Thank you so much for listening to this episode on the idea of having an inner core rationality, allowing your emotions to be present but not dominate your overall life, and work with your own self to build what true confidence really is, not a false bolstering of ego. If you'd like to hear more content, be free to drop me a follow at Stoic Spirituality on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And feel free to follow me on whichever platform of this podcast you're listening on. Thank you so much for listening, and see you guys next time.